So yeah, I think a good place to start will be to cover just some general definitions around what digital adoption means, as well as some of its key benefits. So really, digital adoption is the process by which individuals and organizations will use digital tools, platforms, and technologies to their full potential. So it's not just about using some digital technology, but it's about using it with proficiency to improve productivity and performance. So a key kind of takeaway is that a software or system's true worth is really only realized when it's fully embraced and used effectively. So that's a key theme you'll see throughout this presentation. And some of the things that you'll see in terms of key benefits when focusing on digital adoption when deploying software internally are as follows. So the first is just a direct impact on business results. So you can imagine generally you're choosing to implement a software or invest in a software for some reason. You're trying to achieve some business outcome or solve some problems. So really by focusing on making sure that you're using the right set of features that make sense for your business and activating those most value added features and using it as effectively as possible, you maximize your opportunity and chances to actually achieve those kind of benefits and goals that you set out to with as your original purpose for implementing that software. So that leads to the next point, which is really that focusing on digital adoption acts as an ROI amplifier. So really you want to make sure that every dollar you're spending to invest in the procurement and implementation of a software can result in some benefit. So by focusing on making sure you're activating the features that make the most sense for your organization and having that standardization around making sure that you maximize the use of those features, you're making sure that every dollar you spend on that software is resulting in some core business impact. And the other key thing is you want to make sure you're not leaving money on the table. So you'll find a lot of times in systems, there will be a set of different features that you could take advantage of. And you want to make sure you're using the correct set based on your specific use cases, but also making sure that if there are some interesting new features, especially as new features are launched in new products, that you're staying up to date on what those are and being able to incorporate those in your process and take advantage of that to maximize the return on your investment that you're getting from that software. The next key important thing is around the ability to empower employees. So in general, employees are going to feel empowered when they have the tools and systems at their disposal to help them drive success within their roles and within their teams. So in general, employees are going to feel empowered when they are armed with the tools that make it easy for them to succeed. And the last thing is around how it can help to enable standardization, which is obviously a very common focus within manufacturing. You generally want to make sure that you can define standard processes, but actually enable those and scale those out throughout your organization. So by defining what key features and key parts of a system you really want to use and how to optimally use those, and having a process around making sure that you drive that optimal usage helps to implement a standard approach and help roll that standardization out across your organization. So those are kind of some of the key benefits. I'll share now a little bit of information around some of the research we've seen around the topic of digital adoption as a whole, around the general software industry. So what is a common theme that you're starting to see is a lot more organizations really focusing on the optimal usage rather than just user numbers. User adoption is generally an important metric and is a good indicator of some level of adoption of a system. But really, a lot of companies are coming to the realization that it's a lot more critical to focus on using a system optimally and activating its key features in order to drive the success of that software implementation, rather than just making sure you have a maximum number of users in the system. So this really kind of underlines the emphasis on activating those key features, making sure you're using the right feature set for your specific business needs. A lot of companies realizing that are trying to achieve that through different methods, some of which include user training, so showing people how to use these key features, or in some cases, in-app guidance to actually nudge people towards specific parts of the system. But really the most powerful one is around digital adoption initiatives. So really what that means is when companies are having a strategic focus and set of projects around driving the adoption that they're trying to achieve within a system. So some of the key trends and data we've seen is around 40% of organizations in recent years are starting to scale their digital initiatives across their organization. So really what that means is just implementing software and scaling that out throughout different business units in the organization. And when when doing that, it's kind of underlines the importance of focusing on the optimal usage during these deployments in order to be successful. Some interesting things we've seen through surveys include around 70% of companies that are actually considering digital adoption to be a top strategic priority for the next 2 years. And also 89% of companies who chose to implement a digital adoption initiative reported significant improvements in efficiency around the use of that system.